Hi, and welcome to Design It with Tammy Gibbs. Today I'm going to be delving into a very important subject. One of my group members that's sort of new to the digital product scene brought this up, and in my group, I posted a really long explanation. And I thought to myself, there are so many other people out there that are asking themselves this question. Maybe you're just getting started in digital products, or maybe you've been doing digital products for a long time and you're not seeing traction and you're wondering the same thing. Is selling digital products on Etsy worth it? Really, is selling digital products anywhere worth it? So I'm going to take and give you my perspective on this, and I'm going to be coming at this from a totally different viewpoint. And I hope that what I can share with you will help you understand a little bit better, because I believe that once you understand, you will begin to leverage your products and your pricing and everything a little bit better. So let's take an example. I have a birthday cake baker in my town, and she is often having to, I guess, rationalize or prove her prices because she's not super cheap to the public. Everybody loves her cakes. Everybody likes for her to decorate those cakes. They love her work, but they want her to do it practically for free. So she explains and breaks down everything that has to go into her pricing. So let's just look at her as an example. So she has to absorb the cost of her ingredients, which everybody knows, prices for eggs and flour and sugar and all those butter, all of those things has gone up, with inflation. So when you just look at how much it costs just to even buy the ingredients for a home baked cake, then you're going to see that's a good chunk right there. If she did not get paid anything for her labor. So then, you've got to factor in her gas and her time for shopping, her prep time, delivery if she has to go and even meet someone. Most of the time these bakers will meet someone in a parking lot or something like that. So she has gas to get from her house to the parking lot or to wherever she's going to deliver the cake. And then she charges a good bit because she has to. Once that cake is delivered, she can never sell that cake again. Her time and effort is gone, and she has to start all over again. In this situation, time invested equals money made, and it has to be high enough to cover all the expenses of making the cake and the time of the baker. Now, let me take myself as example two. So, previous to getting into digital products in this form, in the artistic form, with art and images and AI images, I was already published in fiction. So I have books, novels that are available on Amazon during, through their KDP store, and even you can even purchase them in print. So let's look at me as a published author, and let's look at authors in general and how much time they invest in creating their product, which would be a book. So I've been published since right around 2000 with some nonfiction stuff. But my fiction was published in 2010. So after almost a year's time, I had my first book became a bestseller on Amazon as a Kindle bestseller. It was a Kindle bestseller in the Gothic romance category, and it was it was also stayed in the top 100 in that category and the time travel romance category for 18 consecutive months. So it didn't, it sold, but it didn't sell huge amounts until it had been out there for about a year. So let's keep that into context because that's going to be an important factor as well. That was in 2011. Now, that book continues to sell now. It does not sell as many copies. However, if I were to go out and do a push that introduced that book again to readers now that weren't readers back in 2011, it has the potential of having a spike and selling a whole bunch more copies. It's out there, it's available, it sells, some just passively that I don't have to deal with it. And I have other books that do the same thing. However, that first book, because it was my first, I wrote it on and off for 20 years. That's how much time investment I had in that book. And at one point, it was introduced at 99 cents, which is, that's sort of commonplace for a Kindle digital book. Okay. And I only made 70% of that. Okay, so let's look at traditional publishing. Let's just say, normally in traditional publishing, an author will be paid in advance, and that can be just a few $1,000s. I mean, some advances are $3,000, some might be 10. If you're a well-known author, then you could get $1 million advance. I mean, it just all depends on who you are and who you're selling your book to. Then, if you sell that book basically to a company, then they own the rights for that book and they just pay you a royalty on it, but you can't take and go sell that book on your own somewhere else. So you're totally dependent on them. Let's say you had a agent that helped you broker that deal, then for the life of that book, that agent most of the time would receive a percentage of what you make in royalties. So let's just say, in my example, I make 70%. So if I had an agent, then out of my 70%, then I would have to pay them a percentage of that, which reduces what I'm making. So now you get down to these cents of how much that book that took me 20 years to write, so much time, so much effort, and I'm making pennies, basically on it. Now it sells for more, it's stabilized, and the cost is up, but it's still only like $2.99 or something. So still 70% of $2.99 is not going to be a whole lot. Now let's compare that to a clip art pack that I can do and I can create in maybe a day. Even if I took a day or two and I put it out there at the exact same amount, $2.99, I would still realize a better, more significant profit, even paying all of Etsy's fees, etc. Because that, just like my book can sell right on and on and on as long as I have it listed, it has that potential to sell. And that's the same way with my clip art packs. So you can see how the digital products that we deal with on Etsy can actually have a bigger profit potential than somebody that's out there writing books. Now, if you're a huge bestseller, then you're going to make your money. You're going to make your money in the number of sales, like in quantity selling. If you're Nora Roberts, you're selling millions of books. So if you make a small amount but millions of times, it's going to compound and you're going to make more money. Okay. So would you say my effort was worth it? Well, I mean, in the scheme of things at the time when I was, when I'm writing fiction, I think, yes, I mean, I can sell on that book, can make me money right on and on and on. I did not sit down and make a physical book, one book that I could never recreate again, that could never be sold again. I didn't make a cake that could not be sold again. My cake baker friend cannot resell that cake again. So therefore, her pricing takes on a different perspective than what digital products does. Okay, so the true value of digital products, you've got time spent once and you have income potential that is indefinite. When you compare it with physical products, there's no inventory, no shipping, no returns. You're not trading time for money after that first effort. So that puts a different spin on things. And it's the power of one product. So, one well crafted digital product can sell thousands of times. It can lead to more sales via Etsy's recommendation engine. It can become a lead magnet for email lists or upsells. It can also be repurposed across platforms, Gumroad, Shopify, your own site. Teachers pay teachers. So market smart, not just hard. The Etsy listing that you're creating is not the end. Market it offsite to drive traffic and increase your visibility, Pinterest, YouTube, etc. Leverage trends in SEO, and a slow start doesn't mean failure because digital products are the long game. That's why they tell you to keep creating products, is because you never know when one's going to take off. You don't know what number is going to push you over the visibility algorithm. And you also want to make sure that you're looking at the whole picture and you're doing everything possible with those products. Now, pricing strategically is still important. You still have to take time and skill involved, competitor research, your perceived value, and you have to consider pricing lower for volume sales or pricing higher for specialty or niche objects like wedding planners. You can also build tiered pricing: base product plus premium version plus bundle. So, it's kind of like a not an all or nothing. You can actually use that product and sell different variations of it, at different prices. Don't compete to be the cheapest, just be the smartest. Compete to be the most valuable. And your return on investment isn't just with money. The more you do, the more skills you're going to gain: Canva, SEO, design, and AI tools. Your evergreen products are going to equal time freedom. They're going to be selling for you when you're not having to, create and create and create. And you're building a portfolio and building a business. Okay, so here are a few bonus tips for you. Batch creation. You're going to learn to spend time once to create multiple variations and listings, and that's going to help you. Evergreen and seasonal. Build products that sell year round and then spike during holidays. Build your smart systems now. Use mockups, templates, and design systems to cut creation time. And then show how your own process has evolved to get faster and smarter. Leave me a comment in the video description and show me how your process has evolved since you got started. Mine has definitely evolved. And so now I'm able to do clip art packs a lot faster. Even with my video creation that I do, I've gotten a lot faster at it. So let's talk about slow burn versus viral products. So sometimes we need to normalize the slow burn success. It's kind of like baking a cake. Sometimes, the cake has to cook a certain length of time before you get the results that you want. And that's the same thing with certain products, is you put them out there, and then some products only sell a little in the month one, or even they don't sell at all. And then they blow up due to the trends, the SEO kicking in, and also the social proof. Etsy often picks up listings after a few weeks or months even. So if they're not selling right away, don't worry about it. Move on to the next product. Spend your time not worrying about those products and making more. And then you can also layer your products to increase the odds of a consistent income. Time spent equals skill investment, not just product time. So even if it doesn't sell right away, you're getting paid in the skills you're also accumulating, and that's going to make your future product creation so much better. So think of this time as going to college. If you didn't go to college, so I went to college for a little while, then I started a business. Okay, so I always considered the fact that I did not go and get a degree and I went into business, that my first few years in business were my education. I was learning the skills I needed. I was learning, they say the school of hard knocks, but I was learning by doing. And that's kind of what you're doing in the first early months, even year of establishing your product, digital product business. So even if it doesn't sell right away, you're getting paid in the skills to do your business better. So I personally have gotten faster at designing, at keyword writing, image prompting, the Etsy SEO, and understanding it. Time spent creating is time spent learning how to sell better with your next product. So the one-click storefront superpower, this is what is so amazing. So let me share with you. So I started on Etsy with my products, which I'm going to focus on my playbooks because people are more familiar with my playbooks than they are my other digital products, which are my baby books, my clip art, my invitations and stuff, which also sell. But most people are more familiar with the playbooks, so I'll use them as an example. So I started off selling on Etsy, and then this crazy thing happened. Number one, the thing kicked in with the EU where I couldn't sell to the EU creators on Etsy because of the product safety rules. Okay, so then Etsy, when they changed their creativity standards, and I've mentioned this in a couple of videos, I had just released the one of my playbooks that was on junk. It was the junk journal edition. Well, I made the mistake when I was writing that title to put prompt guide on there, which was misinterpreted by the bots on Etsy to mean that it was just a book of prompts, which it is not. It's, like a textbook, and it has sample prompts, but it wasn't a whole book of prompts for people to just use as is. So that's not what the playbooks are, but I had already made that mistake and they flagged it and they removed it. So therefore, all these people, in the very beginning with my junk journal edition, wanting it and couldn't get it on Etsy because they flagged it and they removed it. I didn't want to risk taking that out and relisting it because everything else in the store was going great. I rechecked all my other books. None of them had anything similar in any of the descriptions, and I mentioned, went back in and sort of tweaked that a little bit to make sure that they understood that it wouldn't get flagged. So far so good. Etsy has been fine for that. The only one missing is the junk journal one. So my junk journal playbook, I was like, okay, what can I do? I had already set up a little storefront on Gumroad, but I hadn't actually added any items in it. So I went in and I added my junk journal one. And then on my videos and in my group, I just announced, if you want the junk journal one, it is now available on Gumroad. Okay. At the same time, when I went back in, I realized that Gumroad had changed things and become a merchant of record, which meant that they sort of took responsibility for all of the EU stuff. And they were still going to take care of all my taxes, like my sales tax and stuff, just like Etsy does. So I was like, win-win. Now I'm going to list all of my playbooks over here. And so I did that, and then I was able to come back and tell all of my EU creators that had been anxiously waiting for a way to purchase, and told them where they could get them. So then that created another funnel, another income stream for my playbooks. And now, in a day's time, I sell on Etsy, but I also sell some on Gumroad on most days. So I compounded what I was doing because I was able to reach a different audience, and I've been very pleasantly surprised at what has come in on Gumroad. And Gumroad actually does have a store, like a platform sort of like Etsy. It's not near as pretty. Your shop doesn't look near as fancy, but I've actually made some sales, or like organically from them having it available just in their platform, in addition to me sending the traffic there. So that has been a win-win. Now, I do not have a website that would be, I'm working on one, but it's going to be a standalone. And when you click to purchase, it's going to send you either to Etsy or either you can go to Gumroad and purchase. I'm not going to set it up where it's, I don't personally mind paying the fees because it means I don't have to spend all that time figuring out all the various sales tax. Who purchased in what state and do I owe a sales tax there and having to deal with all that. It's not worth it to me. To me, it frees it up. So if you look at that as also a different perspective, then, that's going to be another way that you're going to need to look at the fees that you pay for these platforms. Creative Market, I haven't done anything on there. I do have a Teachers Pay Teachers. I don't have a lot there right now. I'm going to be building that out too. But just think about all the different places that you can actually market your digital products. If you're going to do the print on demand or like the POD stuff, which that is print on demand anyway. If you're gonna like hook up with some of those like Zazzle and uh, all the Redbubble, all those things, then that's going to be another way you can profit from the same products by just duplicating where you have them listed. So think of that as well, because as long as you're only on Etsy, you're only going to make what Etsy can bring you or you can send to Etsy. When you start diversifying your products and putting them in places where you can then compound what you're making, then you're going to really begin to see your business grow. You can also add bundles with those products. So take some of your older products, if they're not selling, and then bundle them together with maybe one of your better selling products, and then bump the price up for a bundle. And then you can move some of these lower producing ones by pairing them with a popular product into a bundle. So digital equals low cost of duplication, but it has exponential reach. The lifetime earning potential. Let's think about it. What if you make a $9 product and it sells just 15 times a month? That's $135 a month. And over a year would be $1,620. What if you had 10 of those products? Then you're at $16,200 a year. And so you need to zoom out from that single sale mindset and start looking at the monthly and yearly potential of those products. So let's talk about getting into that creator psychology. Let's tackle your real fear. What if I put time into something and it flops? Okay, it can happen. I have a lot of products that don't sell or don't sell a lot. Not a big deal. I just go make more. Let's flip the script. What if it's your golden product and you never launched it because of fear? That same product that you're afraid won't sell could be the one that actually does and goes viral. So even low seller products are still valuable. They build your storefront. They give you analytics and SEO feedback, and they help Etsy trust your shop over time. Creator leverage concepts. One and done work. Do once, sell it forever. That is like magic, people. Compounding products. Every new listing builds upon the last. That's with my playbooks. Now, instead of most buyers buying one playbook, now that I have multiples out there, if they like one, most of the time they come back and they're buying the others. That's the way it's worked. So that has compounded what my average sale is. A lot of people are just going ahead and trusting in it and buying multiple products all at one time just because of the amazing reviews and what other creators have said about them. And being able to look and see how I use them in the videos, I think has helped as well. So you're creating a digital ecosystem. Everything you make can feed into the next offer, templates, bundles, courses, and communities. With digital products, you're sitting on the power to grow your business through compounding, but only if you get started. Guys, this has been a great video, and it probably is one of the most valuable ones that I will ever create for you. I hope that you have listened the whole way through. It is probably one of the shorter ones I've done, but it's also one of the ones that can have such a difference on your mindset. And once your mindset gets in the right place, then your productivity is going to increase. You're not going to be afraid of those things. You're just going to embrace the magic of digital products and then get out there and produce your best. You're not going to be afraid of all these things. So, is it worth it to create digital products and sell on Etsy? It absolutely can be. There are so many people making so much money. And if you really ever want to get to passive, this is the way to do it. But you have to be realistic in your expectations. So maybe you can't quit your day job right now. But believe me, I'm walking proof that if you put your mind to it, if you find and do something creative, if you feel a need, then people will buy it. But keep in mind that you also need to be visible. For more information and more ideas and insight similar to this, be sure and check out my digital the AI digital product create the playbook for digital product. I don't even know what I call it, y'all. Just overlook me. Anyway, it's the one on visibility and traffic, and so it's for digital product creators. And that playbook will be so valuable to you because creating beautiful things is so important, but learning how to gain visibility and traffic so that people see those products and can buy them is even more important. So, I mean, you could have 3 products, but if nobody finds them, you know, they're going to sit there. They can be the best products ever, but if nobody finds them, and it's hard to get found, it just is. There's tons of competition. But the beauty of it is you can have those same 3 products, and with great visibility, you can make a lot of money. In the beginning, with my digital product, with my AI artist playbook, the first one, I immediately saw a lot of increased income, and I only had that one. And then when I added the second one, that just compounded it by 2. And then as I added another one, then that added it by 3. And now I have a whole stable of these playbooks, a whole series. And I will continue, as I see a need, I will fill it, with a different playbook. And I like to over deliver. I like to have big books, 200 to 400 pages, so that when people plunk out their $24, or they're, if they get it on sale, they're $12.50 or whatever it is, that they are beyond excited because I've over delivered to them and they get more than they were expecting. All you have to do is identify within your skill set and within your market and niche exactly what you need to do, what product you need to create to get that sort of momentum. And then you have to figure out how to find those people that need it and show them how they can get it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. If you don't have Artistly yet, grab it. All my details, join my Facebook group, join my newsletter, check out my AI artist playbooks and my digital product creators playbooks. And all the links are down in the description. So check it all out and be sure and subscribe to the channel. Be sure and like and comment and share the video. And until next time, happy creating, and thanks for watching.